Okay. It's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. I will read the land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that we are in the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people and wish to recognize the long history of the Indigenous people of Canada and show our respect to them today. We recognize their stewardship of the land. May we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship. Welcome to our meeting of June the 9th, 2022, and welcome everyone. Could we have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
Motion.
Moved by Bill, second by Brad. Yes. I think.
Just for attendance, I just want to make sure he's here.
Yep. Robert, you're online?
I am online. How's my volume?
Perfect. It's good. It's good. Okay. Does anyone have any item of pecuniary interest or general nature of this evening? Seeing none?
I cannot hear anything. It's just a lot of noise.
Okay, could we have a motion to adopt the minutes as circulated?
I'll make that motion, Chair.
Okay, thanks, Robert. Seconder? Brad? All in favor? Carried.
They're having a bit of a hard time. So. Do that.
Okay. Does that sound better, everyone? Robert says yes. Okay, any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none. Statement of precedent. Any decision reached by this committee tonight cannot be used to set a precedent. Okay, any new business? We have an application for minor variance, file number A15-2022 for Wendell Holsteins, part lot 7 and concession part lot 7 and lot 8, concession 16, Elm Ward, municipality of North Perth. This is a follow-up to our last meeting, as we lacked some information for that meeting. So anyway, we'll ask the planning department for any updates since the last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, as you noted, this report has been requested by the committee following the previous report that was prepared for the meeting on May 24th. So I'm glad to see you've got the sketch up there. That's actually very helpful. So yeah, as I mentioned, this report is a follow-up to that meeting. So as an overview here, minimum distance separation requirements are intended to prevent land use conflicts and minimize nuisance complaints associated with livestock facilities due to odor usually. MDS requirements are incorporated in the North Perth zoning bylaw as required by the policies of the provincial policy statement and the County of Perth official plan. Typically, the practice of constructing new residential dwellings and livestock facilities, including expansions to livestock facilities in agricultural areas, are done on a first at the gate basis, whereby if the structure adequately complies with the MDS setback requirements for dwellings and livestock facilities that are constructed at that time that a building permit is applied for, then the new structure is permitted to be constructed. As requested by committee, Jeff Bannerman, on behalf of Wendell Holsteins, has provided MDS calculations and an accompanying sketch, which you have so generously put up on screen here and attached to this report to confirm the required MDS setbacks for the Eamon farm from the existing manure storage tank on the property to the east, based on the two proposed locations for a new manure storage tank on the property to the west. So based on this sketch, the yellow circle denoting the area that is proposed, which requires a minor variance, and the red circle denoting an area location where the manure storage tank could be constructed without need for a variance. summary, the variance application proposes to site the manure storage tank approximately 100 meters from the side lot line, and thereby from the Eamon farm, and closer to the road, which would effectively reduce the impact on the Eamon farm by locating the structure further away from their property and allowing for a greater potential for a dwelling to be sited. As noted in the report, should the manure storage tank be constructed, the Eamon farm could still site a dwelling or request a variance of their own in order to site a dwelling within the required buffer area. That is generally a summary of the report. Should there be any further questions of committee, myself and/or Susanna Reed are happy to take them.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition to the application? And I request that they give their name and address for the record.
I don't want to be in the way for the Portenau family because I know they are in a bind. I just wonder if I would apply for a house, how much benefit would I have with a minor variance? How much would I get? How much would I gain to get closer to the road? Because right now it is about 450 meters from the road, so it's quite a bit in. So
My understanding is that that would be a consideration at the time. Is that correct? Yeah.
okay,
So at the time of application, that would definitely be a consideration. So,
okay,
okay.
yeah.
Is there anyone else speaking opposition to this?
No, but could that be put on file? What you just said, that it can be taken in consideration. Could that be on file? Stated on file, on the record, so to speak.
It will be recorded as presented. Yes, and we do have a copy of your letter, which
Yes.
the committee has all read. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because in the future, I hope the committee will have a look at it, because in the future, there has to be changes made. There has to be changes made because, like I said, the way we ended up taking the house down, that is very risky for a farmer if something happens. Right? It can ruin you, financial ruin you if you're liable for something. And the same thing that pre-planning manure pits in the future on your farms to eliminate your neighbor to build something. There has to be, I feel there has to be a need for the manure pit, and not a future, like I'm gonna put it there, so I have it. You know what I mean? That there has to be a need. I don't understand, because for years the manure pit on the parents' home was never used. Never. For years. I don't know how many years. It was never used. Just this spring it was emptied out. So if they were in need of a manure pit, they could have used that pit, and they never did. There's a pit on another farm further down the road. I don't know if they use that one.
It's not up to this committee to make a decision on factors like that, and we
Yeah.
can only look at current conditions. We can't forecast what's going to happen in the future. So anyway,
Yeah. No.
we thank you for your presentation. And
Well, I had another question. Is there a maximum of animal units on 100 acres? Maximal animal units? Is there a maximum per 100 acres?
No.
No, there is no maximum per 100 acres of animal units, allowable animal units?
yeah, I think probably Jeff could answer that question if he's on.
No, there's no limit on how many animal units or nutrient units can be generated on a single property, as long as the operation in construction meets the proper setbacks. You could put an example, you could put a very large poultry barn on 2 acres if it met the setback requirements. So there is no limit. And that was built into the nutrient management legislation right from day one.
Okay.
Yes, it's based on the ownership, the amount of land the owner owns more than the single property if it meets the rest of the setbacks. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So like this application here is actually nothing to do with the Eamon property at all. The application is a minor variance to the property on the other side. So we're actually wasting a lot of time here dealing with something that is irrelevant for this application.
Well, Jeff, if you would be in my position, you'd be talking different. I know that, Jeff. I know that. That is
Well,
just silly talk.
I'm
That
just
is just silly
stating,
talk.
I'm stating the fact of what the
I
application.
I know you're stating the fact, but you have to be reasonable. We live among neighbors on a road for many, many years, right? And you want to stay that way. You're not going to be, you don't want to be in the way of a neighbor for expanding. But on the other hand, a neighbor can take your situation in consideration too. That's all.
But you have to
Right.
understand, we have to look at the current situation. We can't look at what's going to happen down the road because that's
No.
something that's in the future. So, okay.
And I don't want to call it a waste of time talking about this, because I know for sure that in the future, rules and regulations will have to change to accommodate not only livestock farmers, but crop farmers as well. We all need a house on a property, unless you want to drive us into town. But anyway, I'm not going to stop Portenaars from doing this. But I still felt I have to say something. And that's why I wrote a letter, because it keeps the people thinking, not just for the people that do livestock, but also for people who do cropping. We're farmers too, right? And our land should be just as valuable as their land. But by limiting our expansion, our land will be less valuable.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation to speak in support of the application other than the applicant? Seeing none, does the applicant or the agent, applicant's agent, have any other comments?
Yeah, I can speak some more to this.
Thanks, Jeff.
The application here is, in this particular instance, is a minor variance to the neighbor's property to the west. It only allows for just shifting the tank over so it's in an area that's not being cropped right now. If we weren't considering to do that, so that we're conserving the land, there would never even have been this meeting, because the Portinas could have applied for the building permit and built where that red circle is, or farther back in the property, and there would have been no meeting or no notifications, period. So they're trying to do the right thing here and conserve the land. And the reason for building the manure storage is to be able to move manure and then drag line it so that you have less compaction on the land, and also it'll help benefit the roads, because you're not moving the manure in the early spring when to the fields. It can be hauled through the winter when the road conditions are solid, put in the tank, and then drag lined on the field and cause less compactions to the farm. That's the purpose of this tank, and to benefit the farm.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none, are we ready for a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the minor variance, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thanks, Robert. Do we have a seconder? Bill? Okay, we have a motion moved by Robert McLean, second by Bill Gregory Addis, that the application for minor variance file 8/15/2022 for Wendell and Holstein's, part of lot 7 and lot 8, concession 16, Elma Ward, municipality of North Perth, be approved. All in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you, everyone. Any other business this evening, Ed?
Nothing on the agenda.
Nothing on the agenda? We have no correspondence? Okay. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Brad, second by Bill. All in favor? Okay, that this meeting be adjourned at 7:18 PM.